Most people in America don't think about God, and yet we're heading into the holiday season when allegedly the Savior of the world was born. And that's when Christians, who are Sunday Christians, or Christians who never go to church, flock to the organizational houses of religion to celebrate the Advent, to celebrate Christmas Eve, and to celebrate the Christ born. But openly, when we talk about these things, people don't like the factual way in which we approach the truth that most Christians only go to church on the major holidays of the Lord's situation. In other words, on Easter, on Passover, on Christmas, and sometimes on New Year's, to make New Year's resolutions, to make prayers in the house of God. Even in Japan, we celebrate Christmas more like the British do, which I don't like, that they put stuff in the cake. I had a British girl do that once. I thought, what the hell? And they're literally supposed to eat around the junk they put in this cake, and I couldn't believe it, so we didn't do that. But openly, they then celebrate New Year's Eve by going to the temple to do various prayers. And on New Year's Day, we go to the shrine, and we post our prayers and our hopes and our dreams on a line. I had some of the most beautiful memories with my wife doing that, and I miss her a great deal. But openly in this world of Christians, I want to ask you, what are you doing right now to prevent your own homelessness in the future? Do you have enough money saved in the bank that you can care for yourself in your house? Is it fully paid for? Or are you still renting it out in terms of paying your mortgage? And when will that be paid off? And once it's paid off, will you have enough income left over, enough revenue saved, enough ways to make money today so that you can actually pay for your food and your utilities and the things that you need? Or are you starting to realize that now is the time, before it gets too cold, too icy, too rainy, too wet, to do some sort of a garage sale to clean out what you've got in your house, to make room for the love and light of the Lord and relationships that are essential to the world? If you're living in the wrong house, you have the wrong neighbors. You have neighbors that steal from you, neighbors that borrow from you, and neighbors that always appeal to you for some sort of income. And while it might help you, if you're single, to have that friendliness and that forte with your neighbors around you and surrounding you, it might absolutely wither away over time. Your best bet is to start moving yourself into a more economical space, start depleting the excess of your life in the hoarding kind of way. But people don't have the right to do that for other people. I can remember when a late elder sibling, was absolutely miffed and harassed to death over someone wanting to hire one of her friends to come in and conspire to clean a hoarding house out. On the one hand, it would give her more room and a little bit more cleanliness and less work to do with a broom, but at the same time, it's an invasion of privacy, and it is a human kind of indecency and dignity that was being, cajoled without someone thinking about how old some of this stuff is and how quickly it can mold. The liars of America like to play games with other people's lives, livelihood, and possessions. And those people are not facing God's gates of heaven. They're probably facing God's gates of hell. You see, we always have a liability to the Lord, and the Lord is going to look at you as you approach, and He's going to speak to Gabriel, who is at the archangel space in front of the heaven's gate, where we would go to worship the Lord but never gaze upon His face for what happened to Moses, which he, as you know, quickly aged. But the truth is, we may not be able to look at Him through the brightness of what His light is. But at the same time, we might be terrified of what He looks like, because maybe He doesn't take human form. Maybe He has a totally different form than we're accustomed to. We know that's something a little bit about angels, and we know that the angel of death can either be one of mercy or one of punishment, and that's sort of rough, because we don't want to fear the death of ourselves. We also don't want to be eaten alive by some alien that is not any more contrived in Hollywood film. So when I talk about the legacy of your life, what's your legacy going to be? Is your legacy going to be the ruining of a family, the destruction of a love life, the ripping off of possessions, the taking things that don't belong to you? Or are you going to be the one who is the light shining upon other people so that the Lord's light shines through them too?